The X Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell is largely an opinion talk show. All opinions, comments, or statements of fact expressed by Rob McConnell's guests are strictly their own and are not to be construed as those of the X Zone Radio Show or endorsed in any manner by Rob McConnell, Relmar McConnell Media Company, the X Zone Broadcast Network, its affiliated networks, stations, employees, or advertisers.
All Hit Radio.
Welcome to the X Zone, a place where fact is fiction and fiction is reality. Now, here's your host, Rob McConnell.
Welcome back to the X Zone, everyone. My name is Rob McConnell. We're coming to you from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on the Talkstar Radio Network, X Zone Broadcast Network, and our family of broadcast affiliates right across Canada, the United States, Central America, the Caribbean, South America, the Pacific Rim, Asia, Africa, Europe. Wow, we're all over the place. Son of a gun, how did we do that in 20 years? I have no idea. Yes, I do. Thanks to you, the members of the X Zone Nation. If you'd like to give us a call, toll-free worldwide, 1-800-610-7035. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com. And our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. My guest this hour is Glen B. Stewart, and Glen has been an alternative health researcher for 32 years. He has been a researcher into mind over matter stemming from ancient martial arts training for 37 years. This has led to world record-shattering abilities. Some of these abilities include being the world's fastest man in martial arts with 8 punches in under a second. In addition, his research has extended into the area of body, mind, spirit. He has discovered breakthroughs in the area of vibrational energy healing and optimized the area called mind over matter. With his extensive background in optimizing the human body, he also discovered that all aspects of nature can be positively influenced with specialized combination of mind over matter techniques and vibrational energy healing. Hurricanes are massive balls of turbulent, unstable energies. With this discovery, Glen has perfected a training system to duplicate his amazing abilities to diffuse and dissipate even the deadliest hurricanes, typhoons, and tornadoes. Today, he has dissipated considerably 35 hurricanes, 3 tornadoes, and 3 severe tornado conditions. His abilities can be utilized from anywhere in the world to anyone else in the world. In addition, he discovered that when you combine specially trained vibrational healers from around the world, you can, in effect, both enhance the life-saving healing abilities and spread them over 24 time zones. As a result, healing the human body or dissipating a hurricane can be accomplished 24 hours a day, X Zone Nation. This principle is called the Stewart Principle of Global Healing Energy. Joining us now is Glen B. Stewart. Glen, welcome to the X Zone.
Welcome, Rob. Pleasure to be on the phone with you.
So you're a pretty fast guy. 8 punches in under a second.
Yeah, it's it's funny. I've been in martial arts since I was 15. Mm-hmm. I'm currently 52, and I really, beyond when you first become a white belt and consequently yellow belt, green belt, so on and so forth, you learn to punch, then you learn to kick, and you learn to combine the two, then you elaborate on the basics. But what really fascinated me was several different things. Number one was mind over matter. My original instructor was very old school. His instructor brought over Asian Ryu from Okinawa itself. Mm-hmm. And consequently, he learned some of the old school techniques as well in terms of mind over matter for board breaking and cinder block breaking and so on and so forth. But he did some things such as exotic as, for example, he was able to put a needle through the web of his hand, pull it out. I mean, he had to use pliers because of all the tendons and all the different things involved in the hand. Once he pulled it out, he actually predicted it will not bleed for a minute. And using a mind over matter, again, that was consequently done. I mean, just his ability to go beyond the pain barrier, then to take that further and actually influence his body and the flow of his chi and the flow of
Glen,
the actual blood
stand
flow.
by. Glen, we've got to take a commercial break. Please stand by. Glen B. Stewart's our guest. www.mankind2.com. That's mankind2.com. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break as the X Zone continues from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Don't go away. Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X Zone radio show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X Zone broadcast network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365. Hi everyone, Rob McConnell here, and I wanted to spend a moment on internet streaming. Everybody has heard about internet streaming, but not many know much about it. Did you know the internet streams just about everything?
Movies.
From new releases to old classics.
TV shows.
Almost every show, every episode, and much more. But the question has always been, how do you do it? Well now, thanks to the folks at 123 Ready TV, I have the answer for you. They have developed a simple program app, 123 Ready TV, that you install on your Windows PC, Android smartphone, or Android tablet that can have you streaming like a pro in less than 5 minutes. You truly won't believe how much is available or how easy it is to do until you try. And for a one-time cost of only $19.99, this product is a real winner. To learn more about 123 Ready TV, visit our website at www.xzbn.net.
Hello, I'm Justina Marsh, and with my dad Pete, we are going to present a new show called Too Good to Be True. Together, we are aiming to discover more truths about this world and beyond. Do you have unanswered questions about the world? Do you ever wonder about aliens, conspiracy theories, or the universe? There are many shows discussing subjects such as pyramids or UFOs, but we want to relay this information based on our own research, including from spiritual means. Hopefully, listeners will be helped with their own beliefs and will appreciate the psychic insights that add to the previous research and information. We both look forward to sharing this insight and beginning this journey with our listeners. Visit xzbn.net for more information about when to listen.
Glen Stewart's our special guest, X Zone Nation. Mankind2.com is his website. And Glen, before we crashed into that commercial break, you and I were talking about this other martial art master who used mind over matter, and you were giving us the example of a needle through his hand.
You know, it's funny. Taking that a step further, I once, myself and my entire family have 6 kids. My youngest brother started as an experiment to the teacher at 3.5 years of age. And here we are. He's 4 years old. I was 18 at the time. 1976, we were in Madison Square Garden, the Felt Forum. I was one of the fighters, 2 of my twin sisters as well. But I also experienced some going further deep into the mind over matter aspect. For example, this one black belt, before he came on stage, his people had laid out a canvas across the stage, broken beer bottles on stage with his big sledgehammer, laid it across the canvas. He took off his gi top, laid it on the glass. They put 4 300-pound ice slabs on top of his chest. Another big guy looking like Arnold Schwarzenegger came over with his 16-pound sledgehammer, smashed one at a time through 4 huge swipes, broke the ice. Okay. Once he got up, His chest had no contusions, no injuries. His back, they wiped off the glass, not a single scratch, not a single cut on his back. I was like floored. I didn't know what to say. I was speechless in terms of mind over matter. This forever changed my life. I thought with the mind properly focused and taken into a certain state, you can do anything. Okay, so this laid the floor for so many things. I became aware of Bruce Lee beyond his movies and stuff, his phenomenal ability in martial arts. He studied over 1,200 styles. Mm-hmm. So instantly I became involved in that and so entranced in that. And getting into the philosophy and stuff like that, looking into, for example, the concept of absorb what is useful. You know, treat your mind and everything you're exposed to like a sponge and merely discard what is not working for you, that type of stuff. And again, it just shaped my mind as a precursor for everything I was about to do afterwards.
Tell me, how did you go from being a passionate researcher into alternative health, mind over matter, and energy healing to your globally acclaimed hurricane reduction research?
Well, you know, it's funny. At 47, I achieved the phenomenal world-breaking aspect of getting 8 punches in 0.97 seconds. Shortly after that, Dr. Joe Vitale of The Secret fame, he's wrote in numerous books, also has a doctorate in metaphysics. Well, he wrote me a letter. We've been conversing primarily through email, occasional phone call, for about 6.5 years. And he wrote me a letter. This is weeks after, maybe a month and a half after Hurricane Rita. Mm-hmm. And, Hurricane Katrina. And as you know, Katrina devastated the Gulf Coast and New Orleans and everything like that. Well, Hurricane Rita was slated to be bigger than Hurricane Katrina. And in fact, it was larger than the perfect storm of 92. So everybody's trying to, evacuate massively and stuff. This is about 23 hours to go before landfall in Houston, Texas. He lives in Wimberley, Texas, for a reference point. Anyway, so his email to me was essentially, help me stop Rita, and his conjecture was that he studied as a reference point for the Maharishi, the late Maharishi, who founded Transcendental Meditation, mm-hmm. that his purpose was to calm down the people because there was mass evacuation, all this stuff in their minds through what happened with Katrina. He wanted to calm down the fear and everything like that. And I took that one step further. Why don't I use my mind over matter and try to dissipate the storm itself? Okay. My previous experience through healing, energy healing, another form of it is Reiki healing, is that everything in life has a certain vibrational energy. And through Reiki, you can actually heal the body by working with that energy. So between mind over matter and the knowledge of energy healing, I decided, well, I'm going to go directly at the hurricane. I focused my mind and worked on that. And I meditated in this special mind over matter training that I've used. It takes in a very deep state, a very focused state, and then you apply your mind over matter to compound that immeasurably. What I found is that the conscious mind is capable of so many things, but the subconscious mind is literally infinite. So I was able to tap into the subconscious mind combined with mind over matter and really take that to a new level. But I used 45 minutes of these super meditations, if you will, and I rested for about 20 minutes. And I did this, maybe 8 times. And what happened is I reduced it down from a Category 5 hurricane at 165 miles an hour, again, of a larger energy mass than either Katrina or the perfect storm. You may be familiar with the movie The Perfect Storm, which is based on that particular storm front back then. So anyway, I brought it down to a Category 1 in 23 hours at landfall. And that forever changed my life. I felt I was gifted in many different ways and shattering different world records and, in the gym and martial arts or whatever.
Let me play the devil's advocate.
Sure.
How do you know you changed it? What proof do you have?
What proof do I have?
Yeah.
I have
What
a bunch
evidence?
of I have a bunch of satellite photos from the Weather Channel,
That doesn't mean anything.
and showing the digression, the wind speeds and
Uh-huh.
stuff. I've learned to prove that more over the last 30 or 34 since then, and I have over 1,000 different satellite photos showing the progression, showing the prediction of what it was to be, and then them constantly reducing the prediction and constantly reducing the prediction.
Yeah, I understand. I understand that, but what evidence do you have that you were doing it?
Well, it's a good point. There's no way to scientifically equate me to doing it because it's one of those nature of the beast things.
So it's your word that we have to take.
No, I understand. It's like anything else. Well, let's take something bigger than that. Hurricane Ida, or Hurricane Rick, for example. Okay, Hurricane Rick had a peak of 185 miles an hour, and typically a hurricane, and that was bearing down on Cabo, and then consequently the Mexican mainland right after that.
Mm-hmm.
Typically, a hurricane does not go from being a Category 5 hurricane is 165 miles an hour. Hurricane Rick was 185, so that was like a super hurricane, a super whatever, if you will. Typically causing massive destruction. 185 mile an hour hurricane would have been, let's say, 3 times the devastation of Hurricane Katrina, in rough terms. Okay. How could somehow it possibly go from that to several days later, I think it was 3 days later, to 33 miles an hour at landfall on the mainland? Now, it touched Cabo at like a part of the outer effects, not the eye wall. I think it was like 105 miles an hour, so it was barely a weak Category 1.
Well, we know for a fact that the scientific community has been working on weather modification for years and years and years, as well as hurricane fighting. So how do we know that it was your mind over matter techniques that actually dissipated the hurricanes and not the scientific community?
Well, let's put it this way. I'm familiar with her modification and stuff. If you were to look up HARP, for example, HAARP, I think it is, which our government has, Woodpecker, which the Soviet government has. You're going to find some certain things. I don't want to get too controversial in the context of what we're talking about, but there's certain indicators that may not necessarily be the case. Okay. Another thing too is one of the things that they have some inaccurate judgments. For example, they judged the sea surface, the surface temperatures to be a factor of that. That's been disproven by the Weather Channel. Matter of fact, just another example is the last one. Oh gosh, what was that was threatened to rake the East Coast? Okay, I sent out something to the Weather Channel, which obviously these guys are pretty much the people to really understand on a national level, on an international level, all types of weather conditions. Well, I predicted what I was going to do. I told I was going to send it off to sea to honor Ted Kennedy's recent death. And it's funny, they actually put in one of their quotes shortly afterwards. I mentioned Danny Boy, because obviously Ted being a Catholic, and what my I forget the exact phrase for it, but I was going to send it out to sea and turn it into a water showering service to eulogize Ted Kennedy. And I put this on my blog days ahead of time. And it's funny, the Weather Channel actually quoted what I said afterwards. And I thought that was pretty much an honor right there. Also with Hurricane Bertha, we kept that one out to sea for 14 days, established a world record for that particular month that never even made landfall. And we totally dissipated that one. There's other ones been like that we totally blanked out.
I understand that people who take martial arts have a natural, they develop a pro-positive and a very upbeat way of thinking. Sure. My problem here is that you have no proof to substantiate anything that you're saying or any of these claims that you're making when it comes to the dissipation of hurricanes.
peacefully disagree with that in the sense that I have satellite photos from the Weather Channel showing what their predictions are.
Stand by. You and I have to take a commercial break. We have to take a commercial break. Stand by.
Sure.
This is the X Zone on the Talkstar Radio Network. My name is Rob McConnell. Our website, xzoneradiotv.com. I'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
This is the X Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Hi everyone, Rob McConnell here, and I wanted to spend a moment on internet streaming. Everybody has heard about internet streaming, but not many know much about it. Did you know the internet streams just about everything?
Movies,
From new releases to old classics.
TV shows,
Almost every show, every episode, and much more. But the question has always been, how do you do it? Well now, thanks to the folks at 123 Ready TV, I have the answer for you. They have developed a simple program app, 123 Ready TV, that you install on your Windows PC, Android smartphone, or Android tablet that can have you streaming like a pro in less than 5 minutes. You truly won't believe how much is available or how easy it is to do until you try. And for a one-time cost of only $19.99, this product is a real winner. To learn more about 123 Ready TV, visit our website at www.xzbn.net.
1-800-610-7035 is our toll-free number. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com. Our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. Glen B. Stewart is our guest of this hour. His website is mankind2.com. That's mankind and then the number 2.com. Glen, what I was trying to get at, and I didn't, I hope I didn't come across as being too hard. What I was getting across is that for those people listening who really have a hard time believing a lot of the mind over matter that you believe in, and I've seen certain things that have made me wonder over the years. Why isn't there? Have you done anything that you can say, this is what I did, here is the proof, so if I can do this, I can do that?
Well, a lot of the precursors, again, let's say in the physical world. I mean, I'm 6'3", 200 pounds, skinny guy. You ever walk into a gym throwing 1,000 pounds of weights after 2 weeks of getting back into the gym here for a stalemate period of maybe 6 months or so, and on the leg press, with free weights and lifting for 6 reps.
Oh, okay.
Or do another time 720 pounds.
Okay,
mind over matter.
Let me get back to what I'm trying to do here. Saying that you can dissipate a hurricane is one hell of a statement to make. Especially since our research department went on the internet, and the only person who's making that claim is you.
Exactly.
Okay, now
I'm the father of it. I know.
No, nobody else is pointing the finger and saying this guy, that guy there, Glen Stewart, can make hurricanes go away.
Well, the point is, let's take a look at the Weather Channel, for example. Every time I post a comment on whatever they're talking about, it's very typically in length, 4 or 5 different paragraphs or so, and very indicative of what I'm doing. Okay, obviously very forward-reaching, if you will. They've approved all of them. And like I said, it's a compliment when I think it was Stu over there, Ostro, was the one that actually made a comment in terms of what happened to the hurricane that was affecting the East Coast.
Once again, we're going back to the Weather Channel, and you know what? I'm tired of hearing about it.
Okay.
Has Discovery Channel done a feature on you? Has Discovery documented this? Has the Science Channel? Has CNN? Any of the other networks but the Weather Channel.
You got a good point there. And I've put out press releases, which I can also verify, which you're typically going to find in the news. It's like anything else, it's very avant-garde. I mean, I noticed, for example, you mentioned you had Uri Geller, on one of your shows.
Mm-hmm.
He's another person who's considered a mentalist. Well, he's able to do certain things. For example, he can hold a spoon, and he can use his mind to actually bend the spoon.
Yes, but he's not...
just for heating up the molecule.
He's not the only person who does that, though. He teaches people how to do it. So you can actually hold that spoon, and he can teach you how to do it yourself, and you say, holy cow, this is great.
Phenomenal, isn't it?
Yeah, there is a method to the madness, and he shares that method and madness with you.
Well, let me ask you this.
Sure.
How come since Hurricane Rita, there's never been another hurricane that has ever, not forecasted, but actually hit landfall ever since then in North America?
You know what? I don't pay attention to that. You're asking the wrong person, because I'm up here in Canada, and frankly, we don't worry about hurricanes.
I certainly understand that. What about, I'll give you another example. The Olympics, another one I predicted before, and I told it exactly. There was a super typhoon of 205 miles an hour predicted to come down and attack the Olympic people, or the China, the whole 9 yards, including the Olympics. What I did is I took a short clip from an old Tarzan movie where he looks around and says, oh. I put that on my blog days ahead. Stated my stipulations, what I was going to do. Turn that thing into a rainstorm by the time it hit. From 205 miles an hour, I'm in Orlando, Florida. I was not at the Olympics. Totally across the world. And that's just one example on how I dissipated. It rained. And, it's funny on how Michael Phelps ended up getting 14 gold medals, which might have been an additional prophecy or coincidence, if you will, that I used, Tarzan, the Olympic swimmer, da-da-da. But just another example. I wish there was a better way to actually quantify what I'm doing.
So do I, because I don't buy it.
I totally respect that. Tell you what, I'll make a friendly bet. You come over, buy me a beer if there's not a single major hurricane that hits the country this year. Now, typically, they're going to get worse until 2012, which is going to be at its peak. The hurricane's going to get worse. It could get up to Category 14 hurricanes. Okay? So the reality of it is, maybe. But if you were to go to my blog, mankind2.com/mankind2, I think it's 20. If you were to go to the blog, every single situation, I stipulated what I was going to do, how I was going to do it. I was going to decrease the wind speeds. I was going to decrease the rainfall. I was going to move the hurricane at a faster pace so it would be less of an impact, all ahead of time. And I've done all of those things repeatedly.
Then how come Discovery, the Science Channel, Fox, CNN, or the other major networks haven't done a feature story on you?
Because the type of covers that they do no longer is the objectivity. It's all controlled by. It's all been skewed. Let's put it that way.
Wait a second.
I've put out things that Lou Dobbs. I've done. Here I've done there. I've done Local 6, Local 9.
Do you know what? I've been in this business now for so long that when I hear people starting to say that, it's because they don't get the coverage they think they deserve.
Well, truthfully, if you saved, let's say millions of lives 35 times and you don't get the coverage, I do. I'm humble enough that I don't.
Then, all right, if you're humble, why are you trying to tell the world that you're this great person, that you've saved all these lives?
What I'm trying to do is get more coverage here, because through the Stewart principle, I've discovered that if I were to get manifestors like myself, when I'm sleeping, there's 24 time zones corresponding to 24 hours in the day. Now, I've proven this before through healing. With healing John Force, we took him from a near critical condition when he got in he's a funny car driver. They go 325 miles an hour in a quarter mile, Kenny Bernstein ran into the side of him, broke his cage right in half. He was literally hanging in the middle. His engine was pretty much at the starting line-ish. The front of it went cascading down the track, okay? It was that severe. We took him from near critical condition to stable condition. He still had broken bones in 4 hours. You can say what you want, but the guy's alive. He's doing well. We brought up the vibrational levels. What I did is I sent out an email to my list, and they did manifesting. We all synchronized on one thing. We synchronized on him. And I was 7-0 in hurricane reduction before I brought in the power of other healers worldwide.
So you've got a number of followers, do you?
I have some followers. I need more. 2012, we're going to be facing a lot more severe things than what we're experiencing already. 2012
is just going to be a year like any other year. It's not going to be the doom and gloom that so many wackos out there are predicting.
Well, I respect your opinion. You may want to look into what Earth scientist Greg Braden says. There's been 2 polar flips already in our galaxy as a result of Nibiru. Are you familiar with Nibiru?
Oh, I'm familiar with that lie, that mistruth, that fable, that fictitious planet that people are talking about. Yeah, I'm familiar with the fraud behind it. Sure.
Well, why would Greg Braden want to?
Where's his proof?
Well, he's a scientist. He used to work for the government.
Big deal. Big deal. He's a scientist. It isn't. You know what? There are so many people out there blowing their own horns, saying that the government is covering things up. There's this, there's that, there's Nibiru, it's the end of the world, December 21st, 2012, the Mayan prophecies. It's all a bunch of bunk. Because when you actually do your homework, the Mayans never said it was the end of the world. It was the end of the cycle. It's just like December 31st. Your calendar in your kitchen is no longer good. You get another one. The Mayans themselves think that we're nuts. And as far as Nibiru is concerned, there is not one accredited astronomer who has even come forward to suggest in any manner that this planet is out there. It's only the people within these little cliques that are forming, thanks to the stupidity of the world's biggest septic tank called the Internet, that are out there spewing their nonsense. They did the same thing in the year Y2K. Nothing happened. It's the exact same thing.
That's one perspective.
It's the
perspective. Then again, if you go to NASA's site, you're going to find, they do acknowledge it some way. Most of this stuff is very classified. It's just the way it is. What the government does is suppress that stuff. Now, I've seen the movie and I've seen the different scenarios, but another thing you're going to worry about when you enter the center of our particular galaxy is the fact that you're going to be experiencing solar flares. Now, solar flares, number one, is going to be causing, between that and Nibiru, you're going to be having a pulse. Okay, now this pulse is going to take out all your electronics. Now, this solar flare is going to create over 1 trillion times the neutronic activity in everything that exists, our bodies, everything. So this can literally fry and die us, if you will. Look at the moon, look at Mars. There's been evidence of water in the rocks, but there's nothing left. There is nothing left. Those 2 planets have succumbed to this type of thing. Now look at the Atlantean rays, which happened in the last cycle.
Here we go.
We lost an entire continent that is down at the bottom of the sea.
Or is it a fable that has finally died?
Well, they found proof.
Where? My God, you're just full of information that nobody else knows. Tell me more.
Well, the funny thing is, the Atlantean race was very advanced to ours.
According to mythology.
They lived to 200, 250 years of age, had showed aging signs of 30 to 50 years old, did fancy things like ascension, left their physical form, and left. Now, there was some very corrupt people that dealt with energy. They had a giant crystal, a massive crystal there, 25 feet tall.
But wait a second, hold on here. How do we know that? How do we know they had a crystal 25 feet tall? Are there pictures of it? No.
I've done my research.
What kind of research have you done? Now, this is an excellent question. What kind of research have you done, and where have you done your research? On the Internet?
No. I know, I know of people through the internet.
So where did you do your research?
I know people. You're familiar with channeling, right?
I don't believe in it, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay, well, there's people with a certain gift called channeling. They can channel ancient people that are dead already. There's one of my friends who's the foremost Atlantean researcher in the world, has researched this. He's been doing it for like 45 years. He's actually channeled ancient Atlantean masters. This is nothing new in terms of channeling. The great Edward Casey, for example, was a great channeler, and he did over 12,000 different channelings, all in the past, not in the future, unfortunately. And amazingly so, somehow, 99% of it have been dead bones accurate.
Actually, we're
Go
60.
figure, nature of the beast, but it's still there.
Actually, the exact statistic is he had less than 67% accuracy.
Depends on who you talk to.
Well, I'm talking to the
like anything
ARE.
else, you know. Uri Geller, for example, can do forward viewing. What's forward viewing? To somebody who hasn't experienced it, it ain't happening.
Mm-hmm.
But then again, he can prove it. I mean, he can tell you what card you're holding. That's been proven on TV, for example.
Yes, but what you don't see on TV are all the times he's failed.
Well, hey, failure is part of it.
But you don't see that part.
Well, it's part of being the human experience here.
All right,
okay?
stand by. We've got to
Nothing
take
wrong
our
with failure.
final break. Exo Nation, this is the Exxon on the Talkstar Radio Network. Our toll-free number is 1-800-610-7035. Email exxon@exxonradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, exxonradiotv@hotmail.com, and our website, www.exxonradiotv.com. I want to thank you very much for joining us, Glenn. We've got to say so long. So let me see. We are going to be wrapping up this segment of the show on the other side of this break. I can't buy this crap that this guy has been spewing out. I think he's got a problem. He's insecure of himself. Oh, my God. I got to get the boots and the shovel out for this one. I'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.
This is the Exxon Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Hello, I'm Pete Marsh. With my daughter Justina, we will be presenting the new radio show, Too Good to Be True. If something seems too good to be true, it usually is. But with the help of Justina's amazing gifts, we're going to gain insight into questions that don't yet have complete answers. Have you wondered who built Stonehenge and for what reason? Why are crop circles found in the same region as Stonehenge and elsewhere? Are crop circles a hoax, or are they created with technologies that we have little knowledge of? Who built the pyramids in Egypt and also in other countries? How and why were they built? Was the Titanic switched with the Britannic as part of a gigantic insurance fraud, or for more insidious reasons? What caused the Tunguska event when trees were flattened over an 800 square mile area in Siberia? Will the new insights be too good to be true? Well, that will depend on what you are prepared to believe. Please join us as we start on this journey together. For more information on Too Good to Be True, visit www.xzbn.net.
Hi everyone, Rob McConnell here, and I wanted to spend a moment on internet streaming. Everybody has heard about internet streaming, but not many know much about it. Did you know the internet streams just about everything?
Movies,
From new releases to old classics.
TV shows,
Almost every show, every episode, and much more. But the question has always been, how do you do it? Well now, thanks to the folks at 123 Ready TV, I have the answer for you. They have developed a simple program app, 123 Ready TV, that you install on your Windows PC, Android smartphone, or Android tablet that can have you streaming like a pro in less than 5 minutes. You truly won't believe how much is available or how easy it is to do until you try. And for a one-time cost of only $19.99, cents. This product is a real winner. To learn more about 123 Ready TV, visit our website at www.xzbn.net.
And now from the X-Zone Newsroom with this news flash, my name is Rob McConnell. These are psychic predictions from Elizabeth Joyce. Her website is www.new-visions.com. These are predictions for April 2010 world events. There is a danger around President Obama during the early part of 2010. Could be a helicopter accident. President Obama winds up in hospital before April's end. Laura Bush will suffer a health crisis as she begins divorce proceedings against George W. Bush. Lindsay Lohan will have a life threat which could lead to her passing away because of her drug problems. The coming food shortage begins in 2010 and continues through 2012. This will become a world crisis of epidemic proportions. The upsetting weather conditions continue. This is why we are encouraged to eat less as well as grow our own food. The financial picture remains stable. The March upset did not occur, thank goodness. But the energy returns in late May. Get your money out of the market by June and wait it all out. There's more volcanic activity as well as flooding and earthquakes in the Middle East. Syria, Turkey, and Iran could feel the shocks. And expect a tsunami to hit in the exact same place it did in 2004 at the tip of the southern India, possibly created from the aftershocks of the quakes in the Middle East. The British Indian Ocean islands could disappear. BIOT is in both the eastern and southern hemispheres, just a few degrees south of the equator. It's positioned in the Indian Ocean, approximately 1,000 miles southwest of India. Well, so much for psychic predictions. We received these in the X-Zone Newsroom yesterday, April the 4th, prior to that 7.2 magnitude earthquake that shook California and parts of Mexico yesterday. How come she missed this just hours prior to the earthquake? And it also reminds me of Pastor Harry, who predicted a meteorite or a comet would have a striking impact in the state of Utah in March. That never happened. It seems that the Bible code that Pastor Harry uses is as predictable as the psychics and their psychic predictions. As anticipated, we did receive a rebuttal from Elizabeth Joyce based on our emailing to the members of the X-Zone Nation. She said, "Hi Rob, like I said, the underground plates are moving. I have predicted an earthquake a month, and we are pretty close. We had volcanic eruption in March. I had said California would quake at the end of March, and there is more to come from that area, as well as Vesuvius in Italy and El Salvador. Yellowstone should erupt sometime in midsummer." Just putting this on the record. Well, I'm sorry. It's on the record, but disputed. For the X-Zone News, I am Rob McConnell. You know, I've got to admit, the guy's got a lot of chutzpah. You know, he comes on an international radio show telling the world that he has saved millions of people, and the reason why he's ticked off is because he's not getting the claim to fame that he feels he deserves. Personally, I think that he's got a few problems that he should take care of. Maybe he's been hit too hard, I don't know. Just my opinion. Do I buy what he said? Not in the least. Do I believe that 2012 is going to happen? Well, sure it's going to happen. December 31st, and then you're going to see 2013, 2020. You know, the list will go on and on. It's not the end of the world. And I just wish to God people would stop trying to put the fear of God into other people. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news at 6.5 minutes past as the X-Zone continues from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, where there are no hurricanes. But you know what? I should have asked him if he could cause rain, and if he could, please let it rain in the countries in Africa where they really need the water. We'll be back on the other side of this break. Don't go away.